Almost 2 days have passed since the new mini set came out, so now it's time for us to see what the best decks in Hearthstone are, at least so far. In this video we're gonna go over 5 of the best decks, show you their mulligans, win rates, as well as some general tips so you have a better idea of how to play with and against those decks. And we're also gonna check out all of the other working archetypes for each individual class, so stick around to the end. If you're serious about Hearthstone and you like what I'm doing, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can hire for some Hearthstone coaching. Now let's check out the decks.
Prepared!
We're starting off with Pain Warlock, and this deck definitely did receive quite the good support with the help of things like mass production and mainly because of things like Infernal. Nothing else really gets included here other than the ordinary, but both of those cards are a huge support for the archetype, and that's a lot more than some of the other classes received, so there's that too. We have all of the good damaging cards like Flame Imp, Spirit Bomb, Geode, which also gives you a lot of card draw, Malefic Rook, which gives you tons of stats on the board, Blood Treant, which doesn't damage you, but it sucks the health out of you, so it doesn't trigger your Imprisoned Horror, but it does trigger the Giant, and it's also another healthy body. And the big payoff is you get to play 0 mana Imprisoned Horrors, as well as 0 mana Molten Giants, and you can also copy a bunch of them with the help of Celestial Projectionist. We have Fracking in here so you can find the good stuff faster. Mass Production gives you a lot of card draw, and it's also a new damaging card, which helps a lot. Geode gives you a good amount of card draw. The Trolley Problem is a little bit questionable, honestly, but it's not a bad way for you to get rid of some of those mass productions because they might become tedious at some point. And it's basically 3 mana 6/6 with Rush, so definitely nothing to worry about. You don't really have any other really important spells aside from Symphony of Sin, so as long as you have mass production in here that you feel like disposing or you just don't have any spells, Trolley Problem is still a 3 mana 6/6 with Rush. Infernal, pretty good stuff, like it's 4 mana 6/6 with Taunt, and a lot of the times you're actually going to be using this to heal yourself back to 15 rather than down to 15. And again, this is not going to be triggering your Imprisoned Horror in any way, but it could help you get a Molten Giant like as soon as turn 3 like that, like turn 3 coin into Infernal plus Blood Treant, and suddenly 0 mana Giants start popping, so that can be pretty powerful. Popgar, pretty cool card, helps you heal back from 10 usually, because 10 is where these guys start dropping for 0. And you could even make a copy out of Popgar with the help of Celestial Projectionist, and that way you get, even if this thing sticks, like you even get to play a 0 mana Sludges afterwards because the discount stacks. Sheriff Barrel Brim, a lot of people don't get it, but Sheriff Barrel Brim basically prevents the opponent from playing a big fat taunt against you and feel good about it. Like, it's not the most tempo card for you, but it's a ton of anti-tempo for the opponent, so definitely worth including if you have him. We also have a couple of Speaker Stompers, and I'm assuming this is mainly if you're seeing too many Spell Mages out there. It's a very popular class, a very popular archetype, not super strong, but definitely a bad matchup for this archetype, so having Speaker Stompers or at least Cult Neophytes should be helping you on that front. Blood Treants are no-brainers, Symphony's pretty good, and Ziliax is in here for some lifesteal plus discount, so you can actually heal back to some more respectable health totals. Matchup-wise, here's what the stats show, and Flood Pally is gonna be your worst enemy, but Spell Mage also feels a little bit less than 50, even though maybe with the help of the Speaker Stompers it's not as bad. But yeah, everything else is hella green. As for the mulligan, here's what the stats show. You can also check out my detailed guide about this deck, a similar version. I didn't include the mass productions, I don't know why, I just didn't. But yeah, here's what it looks like. And here's what it looks like going second. Not much different, so mulligan accordingly. For Urgot Warlock decks, we also have things like Sludge Warlock doing still okay. This is since the expansion came out, so it's the last 2 days from Diamond to Legend. As you can see, Pain Warlock super popular, super powerful, definitely an amazing deck to be playing right now. Insanity Warlock is still respectable win rate, small sample size so far. Mining Warlock is still working decently well, sitting at about 56. And the rest is iterations of those 3. I did try Wheel Warlock as a Highlander deck, it was just not worth it. On the number 2 spot, we also have Flood Paladin, which has also been doing very nice in the current meta. We're not seeing any new cards in here, like it's literally exactly the same list we're used to seeing from the past. You might even consider including things like Flint and Hearthstone Brew. They will definitely be helpful in giving you alternate game plans if the game starts going south. And in order to fit those in, you might cut things like Tigris Plushie or Trinket Artist, something along those lines. But yeah, the deck is literally the same stuff as it used to be, so again, check out my detailed guides about this deck if you want to see a little bit more tips and tricks about how you should play it. As for the matchups, here's what the stats show. This is again from the mini set came out. And apparently Death Knights are not going to be super amazing for you, and neither would Highlander Warriors, even though those are a lot less in popularity now. Other than that, you can see you're going to be doing against anything else pretty well, so climbing shouldn't really be an issue. Mulligan-wise, here's what the stats show. Don't overkeep too many 1-drops, you just need a single good 1-drop like Miracle Salesman would be best. Boogie Down's still quite nice, Hi-Ho as well. The Showdown can be amazing. It really comes down to the matchup how you're gonna mulligan. Like, you could even consider keeping a Showdown Prismatic combo like that, Showdown Sea Giant, Showdown Ziliax, that kind of deal. But you gotta be smart about who you're keeping it against. As for on the coin, it's not that different again. Tigris Plushie becomes a bit more keepable, especially if the matchup warrants it. On the number 3 spot, we also have Handbuff Paladin, which is also doing quite nicely. And again, we're seeing no new cards included in here. I did try the deck with Dorian included. It does make some sense, but honestly, once I tried it, you literally don't even have room to drop him on the board. You're always like hovering around 9-10 cards in hand, and yeah, you just have a lot of card draw in here, like Gold Banner, like Acolyte of Pain. We also have Magathon here, and this variant is actually not running any spells. Let's double check on that, because I really believe the Keeper's Strength variant had a lot of reasoning behind it, but no, it seems like these are the best performers. This is actually what we're supposed to be looking at. Which one was I showing? I think it's this one. They have the same win rate, twice the amount of sample size. The one thing I didn't like about this one, it's kind of weird. It has Astral Serpent, which is kind of weird. Again, card draw, but I don't know. It also has Ignis. Yeah, you have the 4G Ignis, you have the 4G Musclotron in this one, but I don't know, feels a little bit weird. Anyway, we're still going with this one, but yeah, the Keeper's Strength variant is also popping off right now, and I did give you a guide and... No, I'm actually about to give you a guide and gameplay video about that, so hold tight about that one. Yeah, the rest of the deck is pretty standard stuff, if we're calling the quick Handbuff Pally standard now. We also have a couple of air guitarists in here, which help you make the weapon last even longer. The Drone Deconstructor is a pretty smart inclusion, gives you some mechs you can actually buff up and actually magnetize onto it later on things like other Drone Deconstructors, or on your Ziliax, which is actually kind of a genius inclusion in here. It's actually summoning a copy of this, as well as it costs 1 less. So this thing is pretty powerful. Like, you are gonna be able to drop this very early. I also saw variations of this with summon a copy plus double the attack. That's only costing you 6 mana. And that can make a very obscene amount of stats super early. Like turn 5, turn 6, dropping 2 big Ziliaxes that double up their attack. It's incredibly powerful against most opponents. This one doesn't double up the attack, but it helps you drop it even earlier, like turn 4. You're gonna be dropping something like, let's say you just double buffed it, so it would be like, 2 6/8s on turn 4. Who deals with something like that early? Not many people. We also have some interesting inclusions like Cult Neophytes in here. They are going to help you against the Spell Mage matchup, but honestly I didn't notice Spell Mage to be a bad. It's actually a perfect matchup for you. So, feels a little bit redundant, but I guess it can also help against things like rogues and whatnot, so all around probably not that bad. Audio Medic is going to help you against things like fast board-centric decks. It also has Rush and Lifesteal, so very powerful, especially if you buff it a little. The Acolyte becomes quite the powerful card draw engine once you buff it a little. Like, even just dropping it vanilla is going to be drawing you probably a couple of cards, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, other than that, the deck doesn't really have anything out of the ordinary, so again, be on the lookout for my detailed guide about a similar deck like this. Matchup-wise, Pain Warlock not your friend. That's why I think the Keeper Strength variant has some merit to it as well. And also Flood Pally seems to be definitely above you. So if you're facing too many of those, not that amazing, but as I said, the Spell Mage matchup, you're gonna be wrecking them. Mulligan-wise, here's what the stats show. You want your good early game minions. Actually, no, you don't want your good early game minions. You want your Instrument deck, or you want your weapon. If you have the weapon already, if you have Instrument deck already, I wouldn't really consider keeping the weapon as well. Like, it is gonna be a little bit too much. And if you have the weapon already, and instead you have something like a Gold Banner, you might actually consider not taking Instrument deck instead, because the Gold Banner is going to be drawing you minions most probably. It makes the Instrument deck top deck redundant later on, but it's still something to consider. Depending on the matchup, the Plushie can be good, Cult Neophyte as well, Gold Banner is usually nice. Magatha, she can also be quite the high roll for you, because if you equip a weapon on 4 and play Magatha on 5 and swing, that's going to be a lot of buffage, and you don't really run any spells in here, so you're always going to be drawing 5 cards for yourself, so that's tons of steam. Acolyte of Pain might make sense, Drone Deconstructor definitely doesn't feel bad of a keep, but the rest you gotta have a good reason to consider. As for On the Coin, again, the situation is not much different. I don't really think I'd ever keep Leroy, no matter how much I'm going to be buffing him from the turn 1 or whatnot. I'd rather just have something more beneficial for the early mid-game kind of deal instead of keeping a finisher, especially since we have South Sea deckhands as well as Outfit Tailors, so who needs a clunky 5-drop anyway? Other than that, let's check out what are the other good Paladin lists out there right now, and it's nothing but hand buffs and Flood Pallies, honestly. Like, it's just those two iterations over and over again, so yeah, if you're gonna be playing Pally, choose one of those. You could also choose the Mining variant hand buff Pally as well, that also seems to be working quite lovely, but it doesn't have as much stats, definitely has the win rate though. Next up, there's also Zarimi Priest. Again, no new cards in this one, what can I say? It's The mini set wasn't as impactful as the brand nerf, honestly. Zarimi Priest is still a very, very nice deck, super powerful, super strong, and quick. And in metas like this, while people are testing out, decks like this that can literally close the game on turn 3 with an obscene amount of boards, they usually tend to do well, and honestly I'm believing it's gonna remain very good even after the meta stabilizes, because the deck is just way too powerful. Despite Zarimi getting nerfed, that didn't really do all that much. You can still do an obscene amount of stats super early, and you can still just OTK people on turn 7, 8 once Zarimi is ready. So doesn't matter the matchup, you're usually gonna have a way to really close it as long as you get the good cards. Matchup-wise, Spell Mage is gonna be good for you, so is Highlander Warrior, not much other stats just yet, and Mulligan-wise, here's what the stats show again. You can still check my old guides about this deck, nothing has changed really, like pretty much the same deck as the deck in the guide, so that's gonna give you a better idea of what you're working with. And going first, you're never gonna keep Clay Matriarch, like these stats are kinda all over the place. Let's go with the Kept Trade instead. You're gonna be looking for some of the good 1-drops. The Whelp Wrangler ain't bad, Scale Replica gives you a lot of card draw. You might consider Funnel Cake, especially if you already have something like Crimson Clergy. Pip can be nice, Dreamboat can be interesting again if you have the Crimson Clergy. All around, depends on what you already have, and you gotta be creative with what you got. And as for the coin, again, you're looking for the good 1-drops, the Whelp Wrangler, Funnel Cake if you have the Clergy, Pip is still nice, kind of the same stuff in it. For other good Priesticles out there right now, Highlander Priest is finally starting to go above 50. I'm not happy about it, I'm just reporting on it, but yeah, I did receive a little bit of support from the new cards, so you could see some interesting inclusions like locations and whatnot, but it's still very far from being a top meta deck, so I'm okay with that personally. And on the last spot, I think I'm gonna be putting Highlander Hunter, despite it actually having lower stats than Spell Token Hunter, but who the hell plays Spell Token Hunter still with Barracuda Bane and not a single free drop? Like, this has to be somebody literally just autopiloting, not even batting an eye that this deck doesn't even have any free drops. Like, there's no way in hell Barracuda Bane is gonna be ran just to be drawing you 2 cards for 5 mana and a measly free 5 body. Like, what is this, classic? So I am gonna go with Highlander Hunter here. We're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of deal. We still don't have too much stats for the really, really good stuff. But yeah, let's check out what Highlander Hunter is working with. And here we are not seeing all that much new stuff, are we? Is this even running any of the new cards? Doesn't seem to be running Subject 9, doesn't seem to be running much of anything new. So, I don't know about that. Yeah, take this with a grain of salt, guys. We're literally scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Like, it's more of a top 4 than anything else this time. Really have to go deep for the 5th best deck, I guess. If we give it a little bit more time, I will be giving you an update in a couple of days from now so we can really see what the meta is looking like. But yeah, apparently Breakfast Hunter is still doing kind of fine. I think I've done a video about this deck. Yeah, I did do a guide about probably this or like 99% exact same list, so you might want to check it out. Let's see what the matchups are showing so far. You're going to be good against Spell Mages and Spell Token Hunters and Highlander Warriors. We're not seeing any of the Pally matchups here, which is kind of a important thing to be looking. Let's drag it to the 30 days. And yeah, as you can see, if you're seeing too many Pallies, it's not going to be your best bet, so again, take this with a grain of salt. Mulligan-wise, here's what the stats show going first. And yeah, I'm not really gonna go over these too much. Here's what it looks like going second. Like, you can check these and mulligan accordingly depending on going first and second. For other good Hunter decks, I do believe Spell Token Hunter is still gonna be quite nice. We are seeing also a different variations of Highlander Hunter. Very interesting stuff, actually. This is a secret Highlander Hunter. Not sure how that's gonna work out, but it is something to consider apparently. Decent win rate, very small sample size, however, but it's Highlander. Like, what are the odds of people playing the exactly same thing over and over again? So it does have some meaning to the stats. And yeah, it's kind of like that right now. Is Secret Hunter anywhere out there yet? Really don't see it. I mean, there are variations of Secret Hunter out there, like this is a Secret Hunter. Here's another variation of Spell Secret Token Hunter kind of deal. So we do have some options. Yeah, this one is actually looking quite interesting. Let's actually go over this one, honestly. Okay, it is gonna be a top 5 in the end anyway. Yeah, so this is basically a Spell Token Hunter. It has all of the good Spell Token cards. We're not running Saddle Up, however, nor the Jungle Gym and RC Rampage. We are instead opting for quite a few secrets. Bait and Switch is a pretty good one right now. The Bargain Bin helps you with the card draw. A single explosive trap for all the tokeny decks. Hidden Meaning and Ice Trap are also in here. The Costume Singer is going to help you thin out. We also have Observer of Mysteries. Don't forget that your Product 9 is actually going to be repeating even Mage Secrets if you get some, and you probably will out of this. As well as from the Forge thing. Yeah, the Titan Forge traps are also in here, so Product 9 is going to be giving you a bunch of good secret repeats. Mantle Shaper is also going to be dropping down for 0, and the Start Bursting Bow is going to be slapping quite nicely too. We have a Ziliax in here that is going to be doubling up, so you could scam some wins like that, tempoing out 5-8 that goes up to 10 as soon as next turn can be quite powerful indeed, especially with all the secret action going. Like, if you actually have Bait and Switch on it and then follow up with a Zilly, that's gonna become very hard to deal with very fast. Matchup wise, here's what the stats show for it. Mining Rogue is not the best for you, as well as the Paladins again. Highlander, Shaman, and Pain Warlock not too great. Everything else looks kind of fine. As for the mulligan, here's what it looks like going first. Obviously, Costume Singer and your Vicious Litter Spear are gonna be premium. Sneaky Snakes ain't too bad. Mantle Shaper, I would only keep if I already have a decent amount of spells. Like, going second Mantle Shaper is great, but going first, I'm not sure these stats are super accurate like that. Hidden Meaning is definitely one of your best secrets to hold on to. If you already have a Vicious Slitter Spear or Costume Singer, you can also consider holding on to Bait and Switch. Titan Forge Trap could be a consideration, and if your hand is already good, you might even consider the Product 9, so you can actually guarantee you're going to be having it. As for on the coin, the situation is similar, but here I can agree Mantle Shaper is going to be great. Patchwork Bells makes some sense here. Bunch of Bananas might help. Like, okay, if you're going first and you have Slitter Spear and Bunch of Bananas, you might keep the Mantle Shaper, but other than that, I don't think so. And yeah, here even Ziliax becomes keepable because tempoing it out as soon as turn 3, not many classes actually handle that well. Those are the Hunter decks, Spell Token, Highlander, and Secret, so choose accordingly. You can notice that Lesser Emerald Spellstone is not a part of the best Secret Hunter out there right now, so there's something to think about. But yeah, for the classes we haven't mentioned, starting off with Death Knight, we don't have too much stats for many of them. And the best performer is hand buff Death Knight with only 300 games but respectable win rate, so something to consider. Rainbow Decay is doing okay, same with Plague Decay. And the biggest sample size as on straight up Plague Decay with the binding package, and very mediocre stuff, honestly. With Demon Hunters, Shopper Demon Hunter almost made it into the list. Like, we have close to 60% with almost 500 games, so couldn't really ask for too much more this early in the meta. And there's also a Sharpshooter Demon Hunter with the new Naga included, which is interesting. But that's about it for Death Knight, so for Demon Hunter right now. Druid also has been seeing a lot of experimentation. Dragon Druid seems to be the best bet so far still. Hybrid Druid is something new out there right now, I guess. Like, wait, isn't this just Hero Power Druid? Yeah, pretty much is. There's also Aulonius Druid out there, but it seems to be not doing amazing, like, feels like a massive bait. And Treant Druid is up there again, like, close to 55, decent sample size. I've tried it, definitely felt strong, but maybe not strong enough for the current meta just yet. Highlander Druid is up there, but nothing close to amazing, at least for now. Is this actually the list I created? Kinda looks exactly like that. No VODs available, guess it's a little bit different, but definitely looks very close to the list I gave you. Yeah, this one's running Origami Dragon, imagine that. As for mages, we have Spell Mage doing very popularly right now. Like, we have tons of games, almost like above 20,000 games it seems. But the win rate is kinda a bit too fair for it right now. It's doing great against Pain Warlocks, but it does terribly against Pally, so not that amazing. With Rogues, we have plenty of Rogues and Ladder right now, or at least it looks like it. The stats really don't show that. Like, I've been seeing way too many Rogues for the stats to be this low, honestly. But still, Mining Rogues seems to be your best bet still, with the Sonya shenanigans. Really don't like decks like that, but that's the Rogue way right now. With Shamans, Highlander Shaman actually seems quite powerful. Heck, this might actually have been the better choice for the 5th deck on the list. Yeah, it's actually doing quite nice, it seems. Is it running any of the new cards? I'm really not seeing anything out of the ordinary other than the Murloc Glowfin. I'm not seeing the 5 mana 10. Is it there? No, the 5 mana 10/10 is not included here, it seems. And neither is the 5 mana spell, because fuck the 5 mana spell. And yeah, that's about it for Shaman right now. I think I've seen Nature Shamans pop up here and there, but don't seem to be that popular or good yet. And lastly, we have Warrior, and it seems like Highlander Warrior is still acceptably good. Like, we have several iterations of Highlander brand Bomb Warrior. All are doing respectably well. And it seems like the Mech Warrior is just nothing but a pipe dream. Nothing really to write home about, that's for sure. It is not worth your time. So that's gonna be it for this top 5, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you want to be playing in the first days of the new mini set. I will be doing an update really soon, so drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.